What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today when I talk to you about Lucid, I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and when it comes specifically to Lucid's Q1 earnings, what you'll really want to watch for them to say. So I'm going to go over all that, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So I'm going to start on the macro level stuff. So starting off with some of the data points, this week is going to be relatively quiet and boring. You do have a couple no auctions, that is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a couple of Fed speakers, that is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but even looking at the topics that they are going to be discussing, it's nothing really crazy to write home about. And plus, even looking at a lot of the companies unveiling their earnings, none of that is going to disrupt the broader market. So in essence, it is just going to be a very much technical week. And in Lucid's case, their earnings is going to be probably the driving factor, what will happen throughout the whole week. And based on the options, as I did bring up in my last video, it is anticipated to have at least a 30% swing in either direction. So this is going to be a very volatile earnings. But getting right to it, that's kind of the macro overview. So it's just going to be a lot of volatility and lean on the technicals. So I'm going to go over that near the tail end of the video. But getting right to it, in case you do not know about earnings, there's several things that people care about: earnings per share, revenue, and future guidance. So far in 2024, I feel like the market's been very much valuing future guidance over the true numbers. And more notably, Tesla. That's a very good example of that because their numbers were complete shit. Pardon my French. So their numbers were bad, but yet they gave very good future guidance. So the kind of was seen as a excessive beat from the market just because of their future guidance. Lucid could very much do that, right? So their earnings per share, revenue. So right now, earnings per share is slated to be roughly about negative 25 cents, and then revenue 182.48 million. Over this last 90 days, you have seen 3 upgrades coming from analysts. So a little positive revisions for the earnings per share. And so let's get right to, I guess, the actual numbers itself. So before I get into the future guidance, of course. So let's look at earnings per share. So earnings per share over this last 2 earnings has actually beaten estimates coming from analysts. So that is going to be key. That is what you'll really want to watch for, is them to beat earnings per share. Because if it doesn't, then this is where the market is going to really spin that they are burning through a significant amount of cash and that they don't have their cost cutting measures under control, because during these 2 earnings, they have been cutting costs, right? So technically, them positive for earnings per share is a very good indication that they've been at least doing something right. But still, needless to say, the market's going to be looking very closely at these 2 metrics, or this metric right here. And yeah, kind of associating it to just excessive cash burn and in turn dilution. And I even did bring up, I think it was Q3 2023, that most likely 1 year from then, despite Sherry House at the time saying that they have sufficient amount of cash up until 2025, I said that was complete BS. And I've called out Lucid's BS in the past, because I do feel that they will need money sometime in Q3. And I didn't anticipate them to kind of dilute 1 billion recently. So obviously Lucid will bring that up because the affiliate of the PIF did buy $1 billion in that preferred share, which I'm not really a fan of, but I'm not here to talk about that. So ultimately, you'll really want to watch for their earnings per share to be very positive in combination with them having a sufficient amount of cash, because again, you're going to have individuals like me instantly looking at their cash, how much they're burning through, and just determining when they will be needing to dilute. Because also at the same time, 2024 has been very much about efficiency. So any company excessively diluting or needing money, the market punishes. More notably, again, Rivian and Lucid, they've been completely slammed. So again, really want to watch for this earnings per share to be a beat. And then for revenue, Lucid's been complete garbage for that. So even though their estimate right now has been revised up to that, what was that right here? So 182 million. Like, they always do miss time and time again. So hopefully they come out better than anticipated this time around. I wouldn't really be betting on that, in my opinion. But once again, as I said, technically the market could forgive bad numbers if they give future guidance, good future guidance. So let's talk on that for a second. So what are some things that you really need to listen for and for them to say? One of which is gravity. So I think it's fair to assume a very high chance that Lucid is going to talk all about the gravity. But if they do conclude the earnings without giving a definitive date for the reservations to be opened and production to be kicking off, then I do feel Lucid, just based on that factor, is going to hit a new 52-week low instantly. Because as I've said in the past, coming from an investor standpoint, the gravity is the next big catalyst. And if that is a flop, the next big thing is coming out mid or late 2026. So that lower priced SUV. So you really want to watch for Lucid to talk all about the gravity, hopefully give a lot of context about what their future plans are for different variations of that. And not just say, hey, you know what, our gravity is going to be coming out soon, stay tuned. Like if they say that, I don't know about the stock price. That would be very bad. But aside from that though, I have brought up in previous videos, the expectation for Lucid is so low that if they give any kind of hinkling of a positive or new catalyst coming out, then the market is going to absolutely eat that up and love that. So you can kind of look at some of the questions as being posed by retail to management as a good indication of what they might be talking on. So profitability, I think these first two questions are garbage. My apologies to these two individuals that posed it, but profitability, Lucid won't be able to talk on that. Stock performance, they've already talked on that. I think it was Q3 2023. Like there's not much Lucid management can do. Like there's nothing any company can do unless you either do a stock buyback, which Lucid doesn't have sufficient amount of cash to do, so that's just kind of idiotic, or just ramp up. But I think Lucid, like if you ramp up too much, too fast, and don't have the demand there, then the inventory is just going to sit and still won't really be good for the balance sheet, right? So these two questions are not good. This one right here, I feel like Lucid could really do a good answer based on this, because they did say in Q3, I believe it was, that they have been in talks with some big OEMs. So you never know. That could allude to maybe that surprise catalyst that the market does need for it to go up. So this question, I feel like, is sufficient of them all. This one right here, even though Peter has shut it down, so I think for at least going into the earnings, they're just going to say no. But there's a what if. What if Peter does say, yes, we are actually pursuing a lower priced vehicle 2025 or 2026, lower priced vehicle 25,000, let's say. The market, again, similar to what happened with Tesla, is just going to skyrocket it up. So there is some hope for Lucid's earnings. Just, I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see what Peter does say. Hopefully he comes out strong and not more of a salesman as what he's done in the past, because usually that's been very much correlated with their underlying performance. The more he kind of rants, the more salesman-y, if that's even a word, then the kind of the worse off the earnings are. So we'll just have to wait and see, but no matter what, they definitely do need to talk all about the gravity. And ideally, I've been a very big fan of ESS and just integrating into China. So it'd be good if they just voluntarily bring that up, because that wasn't one of the questions that is most likely going to get asked. And it'd be interesting to hear their answer for this question right here about the reverse stock split, which I feel like Lucid will just kind of shut down, but who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. What kind of topics are you wanting to hear from Peter himself for this upcoming earnings? And also on a side note, in case you guys haven't caught on yet, I'm going to be live streaming that under the Financial Journey channel, so not necessarily the new one yet. I did make a new channel, so I'm going to be flip-flopping between the two until I do get sufficient amount of followers under that one. So join or subscribe in the description below. But like I mentioned, on a larger scale, it's going to be a very much technical week, so let's talk about that. So right now, with it at $2.79, it is trading between this pivot and this R1. So it is right below this resistance point of 282. On Friday, it did actually break above that, so it does have the good momentum. Institutions have actually been buying Lucid over this last week, so that's obviously a very good sign. Maybe they're anticipating better than anticipated earnings. But regardless, you can kind of just watch for this 282 to be the next strong resistance point, and then vice versa, $2.58 is going to be the next strong support. So just take note of some of the strong support and resistance points, because their earnings is going to change the whole dynamic of absolutely everything. Like I said, options is kind of pointing to a 30% swing in either direction. So it is going to be a very volatile earnings. You do see that consolidation on Friday. It is still sitting above that 50-day moving average. So of course that's generally good. At the same time, stochastic is at 80, so that is considered overbought. So if there is a sign of weakness, more specifically from the earnings, you are going to see a very significant pullback. And you do see a nice bullish deviation though, so white line above the red. So that's kind of a good thing. Number of retail investors have been getting in. So if you've been buying leading into their earnings, give yourself a shout out in the comments below. So where do you see things going? Throw your price predictions in the comments below. I do feel that Lucid, especially like I said, with their earnings such low expectations, they might actually have a good earnings. Not really enough for it to get back into the $4, $5, $6 range, but at least I think it's going to be timidly positive where it will get it to at least the $3.30 range. That's my own opinion, of course. Unless there's larger external circumstances that will really push it higher. Vice versa, like I said, it could go opposite direction and have a new 52-week low. We'll just have to wait and see. So hopefully everyone's had an amazing weekend thus far. One final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they give you 7 fractional shares of the 𝗪𝗧𝗛. So a kick-ass deal, link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.